What's up, guys? So today's video is going to be me comparing this 2023 Can-Am X3 to my 2021 Pro XP, which I ended up wrecking and they wrote it off, so I had to get a new machine. I decided to go with the Can-Am because I haven't had one of these yet, and my RZR did give me nothing but problems right from day one. So I decided, you know what, I'll just try an X3, and not a bad decision so far. Seems like a really good machine. I got just about 600 miles on it, so it'd be almost 1,000 kilometers. I rode locally. I just come back from Michigan where I put a bunch of miles on it there. So I got the hill climate, try the suspension, the moguls. If you ride Michigan, you know what I'm talking about. It was pretty dusty, so we didn't go too far. I did get to, like I said, I got to try some good hills. So basically comparing it to the Pro XP, power-wise, this is surprisingly powerful for 135 horse. Not quite as much as the Pro XP had, but it's also way different kind of power. The RZR I find has got a little more torquey feel to it. To where this machine here, you really gotta have it in the RPMs, which makes sense. It's an inline 3 compared to the twin. Suspension-wise, I did like my Pro XP suspension-wise. This machine here handles, I would say, a little bit better. It's a little more softer in the moguls too. Especially if you're going high speed, I feel like this machine takes the moguls better. As for cornering, the Pro XP I didn't really notice it dive like the older RZRs did. But cornering, I would put this thing a little bit above. It does seem to handle a little bit better in the corners. Comfort-wise, you sit really low in the X3. The Pro XP, you sit kind of low in too, but I found the seats were nicer in the Pro XP compared to these seats. These are still comfortable, but I did find the Pro XP seats to be a lot nicer. And you can see a little bit better. You see your wheels in the Pro XP, where this you sit so low you can't really see them. Now reliability. So my RZR, after 36 miles, I think it was, I had to change the belt. I think there was just oil on the clutches, but still, after that many miles, I had to pull my clutch cover off, pull my clutches off, clean all the sheaves on them, just the Scotch brake cleans, I think they had oil on them. Put it back together, then it blew another belt, and then it wouldn't run, had to put fuel injectors in it, so the thing was nothing but problems. Like I said, 600 miles on this, and I haven't had one issue with it, no engine lights, no belt slippage, no nothing, and I guess break it in proper, but I'm pretty sure this thing has a 200 mile or so. I think it's like not like a limp mode, but it slows it down a bit for the first couple hundred miles. Because I did notice the difference I felt once it after it hit the 200 mile mark. The tires, that comes with the same tires, the 30-inch carnivores. Pro XP came with those too. Another thing I kind of like about the X3 is how low the roof is for putting it in some enclosed trailers. If you got like the older snowmobile trailers, they're only about 6 foot height, and the doors are even lower than that. So this thing can go in basically any enclosed trailer, where the RZRs are not going to fit in every trailer. The roll cage is so high on them, and you hit a lot more, the tree branches and stuff. So I do like the low roof of this, and I'm 6 foot tall. Wearing a helmet, I don't notice any issues with the roof being low. I think it's because you sit so down in the seats. I do notice these have a adjustable seat on it, so you can buy this thing that raises the back up and you can drop the front down. But if you're a shorter rider, that's what I would probably do, but since I'm taller, the way this thing sits for me is fine with the seats. Now about the seats too, is you have to unbolt these seats. They don't just, one little lever doesn't just clip them out, which I really don't like for power washing, for anything like that. When I clean my machines, I like to pull my seats out usually and everything, where this here, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get the seats out. Where the RZR is just one little clip, seat pops out, no problem. This also, I didn't have the retractable harnesses in this model. I ended up putting harnesses in it, which are fine. They fit really nice in the seats too, because the seats have the holes in the back for your harnesses to come through. RZR had the retractable. Those are a little nicer. I could have got that for this one, but I just ended up getting the standard ones. Lighting. So the lights on this and the RZR, both LED lights, I would say they're both about the same. I didn't really notice a big difference in that. The gauges, this is the base model, so it didn't have the nice gauge on it. It's got the smaller gauge. You can't even compare it to the RZR gauge. The RZR gauge is way nicer. With the Pro XP, I had the base model of that, and it come with nice gauges on it. So you got to give RZR credit on that one. Their base model comes with way better gauges. But this still functions. They still show everything you need. Toggle switch placement, I would say they're both the same. This has a couple that are up by on the left-hand side, right by their own light switch, the factory light switch. So I put my light bar, my rear light on there. I like that better than the RZR, which is all in the center. Wiring, accessories. The RZR is nice. You buy your clips with the pigtails on them. You just plug them in under the dash. Actually pretty easy, and all your accessories, everything here. This thing here too, it has your bar. It's in the center console kind of underneath. You got to pull a couple panels. You got to pull the seat out to get at it. Running the wires, everything was pretty easy, simple on that part. But I would give the RZR a little bit more credit on easier to wire and easier to run your wires through the roll cage. And then power-wise, I'm very surprised with this 135 horse. I do want to race it against the Pro XP or Turbo S. I kind of raced a Turbo S going down the road, and this thing held its own against it. We didn't do it, so we were just basically a rolling. We both got up next to each other, just hammered it, and the RZR didn't pull it. So those are only 168 horse, I believe, where the Pro XP is 181. I did notice, I mean, the Pro XP for sure has more power, but this is definitely not too far off for only being 135. I almost feel like Can-Am underrated this horsepower on this thing. Just putting out more, they just said it's 135. That's about it, guys. So it's just I want to give you an honest comparison. Would I pick one or the other? I don't know. This Can-Am's pretty nice. So far, very reliable. And a lot of guys I know that are using these machines say they're reliable. That's one of the main reasons I went with it. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, do I go Pro XP, do I go X3? If you're a shorter person, I would probably go with the RZR. Maybe they work their bugs out with the issues with them. I don't know. Some guys have no problems with the RZRs. But I'm 6 foot, and I feel like this fits perfect. But if you're a bigger guy or you're over 6 feet, the Can-Am, like I got my seat ahead of it on this to where I'm comfortable. So you could be probably 6'5" in this thing and have lots of room. So if you're a bigger guy, you're probably gonna want the X3, but the RZR still has lots of room. And I guess storage is what I didn't talk about. The RZR has a way bigger box, factory box, so which I like better. This is just open with just a little flat deck on it. Like my RZR, I used to be able to go down and cut a little bit of firewood. That ain't happening. The RZR had a center console factory with power ports in it. Plus it had power port in the front, where this only has one power port in the front. And very little storage on this. So I got door bags in it now. And then I put the centerpiece that'll hold your screen or your cell phone, whatever you want to put, your iPad, your cell phone. So I think that's about everything covered here, guys, on this. So if you're trying to make the decision, they're both good machines, in my opinion. The X3, I feel is a little more fun. I like the engine sound of it. I always liked the inline 3. I had a FC09 before a street bike. I like the sound of that. I like my YXZ, had the inline 3. I just like the sound of those motors. Yeah, it is a smoother power. This is a way smoother machine. I noticed right off the bat, the clutching in it, which I forgot to touch on here, is the clutching is way smoother in this machine. I don't know what it is. Takeoff, when you're reverse, when you're just cruising, when you hammer it, everything about it just engages smoother. And I did notice climbing a hill, in the videos, it doesn't show justice, but climbing hills in low gear, I noticed my RZR, it wouldn't lose power, but you just wouldn't have any more. Like I'd have to pretty much hold it to the floor. Where this here, I can let off and hammer it again, and it's got tons of power going up the hill. It doesn't lose any power. Like the way the clutching is shifting works perfect. Right? The RZR just leaves a little bit too, working the motor a little too hard. And yeah, so that's about it, guys. So if you're trying to make a decision here, I don't know, I'm liking this X3. If I was getting rid of this and looking for another machine and a Pro XP came up for a good deal, I would get another Pro XP. So those are, and I'm running the 64-inch wide too. I didn't say that. This is the 64-inch model. I don't like the wide ones. I don't think I need it. I like riding a lot of bush trails where even this I feel is tight. So For my decision, I'm going to lean a little bit towards the X3 on this one for my decision. But like I said, if I got a deal on a Pro XP when I'm done with this, I would go with another Pro XP in a second. So yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on it. Make your own thoughts. If you're, like I said, if you're watching this to make a decision, it's a tough decision. They're both good machines. I feel like this machine is probably going to be more reliable than an RZR. I know there's a lot of guys that have issues. Every machine has its issues, but I just feel like you can probably put more miles on this machine than you can an RZR for longevity. Like, I don't keep my machines, I think I maybe go to 3,000 miles at the most. And that's it. So there's my thoughts. Hopefully this helps you make a decision on what you're buying. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand screen. And thanks for watching, guys. There'll be lots more videos to come here, and I'm going to do my full review on this too. Now that I got a few miles and I got to try basically all the conditions. So thanks for watching.